As far as the older work, as far as using a lot of text, I still do that. I mean, for the years that I stopped painting and making art, I used to make noise, just abrasive, horrific sounding noises, and compose them into pieces, with the idea that one day they would be soundtracks to paintings. And then I lost 2.5 years worth of that work when my hard drive died, and it was just too expensive to recover. And I'd also write a lot because I needed some kind of outlet, because during that time I was working corporate. I was working for Fortune 50 companies, just being, in a state that I hated. I hated my life. However, I had to find some outlet, so I wrote all the time, and I'm not the greatest writer, but it was just something that was cathartic sometimes. Or at times I would get ideas for a lyric that I might use, which there's many things that I would write down that I thought I might use. I still haven't, so I could one day. But as far as a lot of the work that you mentioned, especially the American Dreaming piece, I've always had these strong views that are very anti-capitalist to a degree. I mean, all belief systems are all pretty much flawed and pretty stupid when you think about it. And I don't mean that in a pessimistic way. I just mean that they're all based on human ideology of someone always getting ahead no matter what, and it's always manipulated. And it's kind of fucked up because I feel like Nostradamus sometimes, in the fact that, I kept saying in a lot of the works how the cost of living is out of hand, and, it's how corporate greed is just fucking ruining everything. And you have so many people are believing into all this crap, like, oh, I need to succeed by being rich. And especially with celebrity, you have people that overpaid for being nothing and selling nothing and giving the idea of being nothing. When you think about it, I mean, when your life is to be adored by many, that's not a life, that's just a waste of time. You're not really doing anything. You're just hoping to be in a spotlight. And that was kind of like what I was thinking about, that the idea of the belief systems that everyone had were, I want to get rich, I want to be famous, I want to own all these material possessions. And, this was before the economic crash, so I didn't expect that to actually come true. But I kind of used to always think of these moments where we'd have some catastrophic event where all these people would have their ideals questioned. And for many people that has come to pass. And it's unfortunate, but I think it's long overdue at the same time. I think it's a great way of putting everything back in perspective. Instead of just screwing over someone else so you can get ahead, maybe it'll get people to care about one another again, to actually think of their community, and not just think for themselves, but to think of what their actions can do to help others, and vice versa. I know that's wishful thinking, but especially right now, you have to be as optimistic as possible, because it's so easy to be pessimistic. So I was just working on this piece, which had a skull mask on this girl's face, and she has like really kinky hair. It's just all crazy and dotted, and it was a fun piece done in small paper, and it was kind of cathartic. In fact, the original piece got destroyed in the passenger seat of my car by accident. It fell off the seat, and one of my friends, when they were in the car, their feet trampled it, and the piece is destroyed. Luckily, before that happened, I had scanned it, so I have a high-res version of it, so I have prints of it now. So occasionally I have them prints on wood, and the piece is online, of course. And that was just like one of many things. I took a lot of what I was feeling at the time with the work and just put it in pieces. And so much of the work is sarcastic, especially during those years where I was working for these different companies and working in a cubicle, doing this monotonous, mind-numbing work, making someone else rich while I'm just skating by. So I'd have to make, a little commentary on just how inane it really all is. And so that was that piece, but there's so many more that came from that. There's like a lot of pieces just dealing with I don't know, trying to make it in just a world that really, surprisingly, as real as it is, it just seems like something from Through the Looking Glass, because it's so unrealistic and so weird and abstract. But so many of us have had to do it, and so many of us are still doing it. So, no jab at those people that are still doing it. It's just, it's not a life I can see continuing.